The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. COVID-19 cases in the country continue to rise with over 11,600 fresh infections today. That brings the number of active cases to more than 145,500, nearly 17% of the caseload, which now stands at over 864,800. At least 201 more Filipinos died today due to COVID-19, pushing the death toll to almost 15,000. Some 703,000, meanwhile, have gotten better from the disease, with over 55,000 new recoveries today. That is the highest number of daily COVID-19 survivors in the country since the onset of the pandemic. The Health Department has also confirmed more cases of the COVID-19 variants of concern, as well as a P3 variant that emerged in the country. To help shed light on this matter, Dr. Ronjin Solante, head of the San Lazaro Hospital's Infectious Diseases Division, joins us over the phone. Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, Jess.
Okay, so Doc, you have the DOH reporting local cases of variants of concern. What do you mean by that exactly?
The variant of concern is defined as a variant that has a higher risk of transmissibility. And that's the behavior or characteristic of the B117, the South African variant, and then the Brazilian variant. Now, with regards to P3, I don't know if it's considered already a variant of concern because based on CDC, still a variant of interest.
No, but then again, you have still, of course, a number of cases being reported here by the DOH based on their recent genome sequencing. Should this be a cause for concern?
Yes, because, actually, we have been expecting this, what we call exponential growth of the cases, because whether it's a variant-driven increase in the case or it's because of the old variant, which is still 7 to 9 times highly transmissible, the way we look at this is that our way of prevention, the minimum health protocol, is the same whether it's a variant or the old variant.
But is it still too early to say that the resurge that we're seeing the past few days is driven by these variants?
I would likely to believe in that aspect. It's only that we don't have yet a very extensive surveillance on what is now the current distribution of the different variants of concern in the Philippines, because I think the testing or the tested samples may not be enough to conclude that the current increase in the cases is variant-driven.
Would you say then that there is a need to at least ramp up or widen or expand even the genome sequencing tests?
Yeah, that should ideally be the way we are moving forward, but I don't think the current centers are really capable of doing that. And I think last 2 weeks they have rested their processing of the specimen. So we need to be moving forward in terms of if it's a variant-driven or not variant-driven. The approach is still the same, and I remind everybody to still practice the minimum health protocol 100%.
Mortality has also been rising the past few days here. Is this a factor here?
Just when we look at most of these cases, especially the census that we've been receiving coming from the hospitals where I'm working, it seems that as there is increase in the number of cases, there will also be a proportional increase in the mortality. So meaning it just goes to say to that there is no number or percentage of the severe critical. It does not increase. It's still the same. It's just that with the increase in the cases, there is also increased proportion of this severe critical admitted that are also higher mortality.
Are you also seeing that mortality number rise in your facility, Doc?
Yes, of course. Like in San Lazaro, 80% of our admitted patients are already in the severe and critical stage. So that's something that worries me. And most of them are the 50 to 60 years old and above with comorbidities, and there is really a high rate of what we call household transmission, because a lot of them are coming from their son or from their relatives. 2 or 3 of them in the household are being positive.
Now, given that, Doc, you have the IATF deciding that MECQ will be implemented in the NCR Plus bubble. Is this the right direction to make?
Personally, it should not be, but I know how they balance now the decision of MECQ over that of NECQ. But for me, it's premature to really be on an MECQ with the cases not yet stable for the past days. And in fact, you knew that today it's like 11 or 12,000. We would expect a higher number of cases, and the impact of the ECQ I would expect will be felt during the third or fourth week of April.
So you would say that at least the ECQ that we've had over the past 2 weeks is still not sufficient?
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay. Now, are there also new data on the efficacy of vaccines against the variants of concern that we were talking about earlier? And when do you think we'll be seeing the effect of the pace of our rollout and the number of those inoculated as well?
We can only feel the total impact of the vaccine once we also have more than 50% of the population will be given the vaccine. Even in countries like they have already 25%, 20% of their population, they haven't had any data yet that vaccine the impact was really felt significantly, but more or less there is a downtrend among these countries. So we need more vaccines. We need to fast track the rollout so that as soon as we can have the group in the priority list vaccinated, hopefully we can get the impact of this vaccine.
All right, thank you very much for your insights. Again, that was Dr. Ronjin Solante from the San Lazaro Hospital. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Vice President Leni Robredo is calling on the government's COVID-19 task force to modify its priority list. In her weekly radio show, Robredo said more subgroups of essential workers and other vulnerable sectors should be identified within the priority groups. She explained that essential workers such as drivers should be included as a subgroup within A3 due to their constant exposure to COVID-19.
Pero sa akin yung suggestion ko lang ka, Ellie, sana may subgroup pa yon. Sana yung mga less than 60 na may comorbidity, unahin sana yung walang capacity mag-work from home.
Robredo also urged the government to make sure that those who are really in need of vaccination are not being left behind. Her statement came after reports of some lawmakers and other high-profile officials skipping the line for inoculation.
Sana mauna at tulungan natin sila kasi ang iba hindi naman marunong mag-register online. So dapat mas proactive yung pag-aya.
Here are other vaccine stories from around the world. South Korea will lift the ban on AstraZeneca vaccine for people aged above 30 starting today. The country's health authorities suspended the use of the British-Swedish shot due to reported blood clot incidents. A study in Israel showed that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was less effective on the B1351 COVID-19 variant, which was first detected in South Africa. Research data suggests that the variant can break through the vaccine's protection to some extent. The study, however, has not yet been peer-reviewed. And the government of Venezuela has paid $64 million to secure 11 million COVID-19 vaccine doses through the World Health Organization's COVAX facility. The jabs are said to be enough to vaccinate 20% of the Venezuelan population. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.